Let's be honest. Is your team just drowning in busy work? Today, we are going to cut right through all the noise and tackle a huge question for any modern business: automation. We're going to demystify the choice between two super powerful but very different approaches that can free up your team for the work that actually matters. Okay, let's dive in. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by defining the real problem, then we'll look at two different solutions. After that, I'll give you a simple framework for making the right decision, walk you through a real-world example, and then hand you an actual playbook before we zoom out and look at the future.
All right, first things first, the problem. Let's get beyond all the buzzwords like synergy and digital transformation. What is the real challenge we're all trying to solve with automation? It's probably something that's happening on your team right now. I want you to think about your most talented, most creative people. How much of their day is spent on stuff a machine could just do? We're talking about that manual, repetitive, soul-crushing busy work that just drains productivity and, frankly, crushes morale. Some studies show that knowledge workers can spend almost 40% of their time on these tasks. That is a massive drag on innovation, and that's the exact problem we're here to solve.
So how do we fix it? Well, there are two main paths you can take. We're going to use a couple of great examples to bring these paths to life: N8N, which represents workflow automation, and Claude AI for AI task automation. It's really important to think of them not as direct competitors, but more like two different tools for two very, very different jobs.
Okay, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got workflow automation. The best way to think about this is like a digital assembly line. It's a perfect, predictable sequence of if this happens, then do that steps. Super structured. But on the other side, you've got AI task automation. This is much more like a smart assistant. It doesn't just follow a rigid script, it actually understands language, context, and what you're trying to do. It can take messy, unstructured human communication like an email and turn it into something organized and actionable.
So, what does this actually mean for you? Well, if you've got a process that's predictable, it has multiple steps that are the same every time, workflow automation is absolutely your go-to. It's rock-solid reliable. But if you're dealing with unstructured stuff, emails, reports, customer feedback, you really need the flexibility that AI brings. And here's the real kicker: the skill level. For workflow automation, you need someone who thinks logically, someone who understands how apps talk to each other through things called APIs. With AI task automation, though, the main skill is just being able to write clear instructions in plain English.
Knowing the difference is one thing, but how do you actually choose the right path? That is where our decision framework comes in. Think of it as your strategic compass for navigating this whole world of automation. And this, right here, is the most important mindset shift you can make. The goal is not to figure out which tool is better. It's about figuring out which tool is the right tool for the job you need to get done. So here's how the framework works. It's actually really simple. First, just look at the task and ask yourself, is this process structured and super repeatable? If the answer is a big yes, you're on path A. Workflow automation is your friend. If the answer is no, then you just dig a little deeper. Ask, does this task need to understand language, or make a judgment call, or create something new from scratch? If the answer to that is yes, well then you're on path B, and an AI tool is exactly what you're looking for.
All right, theory's great, but let's see how this framework actually plays out in the real world. We're going to tackle a problem that I'm sure is painfully familiar to a lot of you: the totally chaotic customer support inbox.
Does that sound familiar? I mean, you can just feel the frustration in that statement, right? So many amazing teams are stuck in this exhausting cycle of low-value work. It's a classic case for automation. But where do you even begin?
Okay, let's run this problem through our framework. The emails are all different, so the process is not structured. And they absolutely require understanding human language. So that points us straight to path B, AI task automation. The solution: they used an AI to read and categorize the emails and then draft smart responses. And the results, they were just staggering. A 40% faster response time. And maybe more importantly, a team that was finally freed up to focus on what they do best: solving the really tough customer problems.
Okay, now it is your turn. You've seen the theory, you've seen the framework in action. So in this section, we're going to give you a simple, step-by-step playbook to start putting this to work in your own business. Here are 5 clear steps to get started. First, Audit. Get your team together and identify the top 5 biggest time wasters. Second, analyze each one of those using our decision framework. Third, pilot. Don't try to boil the ocean. Pick one clear winner for a small-scale test. Fourth, and this is so critical, measure. Decide what success looks like before you even start. And finally, scale. Use the results from your successful pilot to make the case for going bigger.
And look, this doesn't have to be some massive, multi-year project. You can start small and get wins on the board really quickly. In the very first month, you can do your audit and pick a tool. By month 3, you can have a pilot project up and running. And by the 6-month mark, you'll have real, hard data you can use to confidently plan your next move.
But, this is about so much more than just saving a bit of time or a bit of money. For our final section, let's zoom out and talk about the bigger picture here, what the real future of automation looks like. This, right here, is the future of work. It's not about replacing people with machines. No way. It's about augmenting human intelligence with automation. It's about freeing up your smart, creative people to focus on the things that only humans can do: thinking, creating, strategizing, and innovating. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Are you building a business that's just focused on doing tasks more efficiently? Or are you building a business that is designing the future of how work gets done? The choice you make there, well, that's going to define everything.